All right. All righty. Happy Wednesday, girls. I am so happy you are here. So, I know for me, October can become a little much because of Teen Cup. We know we're at the end of coming into, or like stepping into like the last 75 days, last 90 days, however you want to look at it, but nonetheless there are so many exciting things happening today. Before we even get into the announcements, first of all, I just want to say, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Susie Solaris, Suzette Solaris. I am a wife and a mom to two boys, and I'm a substitute teacher, and I'm also a Beachbody coach. I host these team calls every Wednesday for my team, but my co-host is Stacy, who is my success partner. Love doing life with her. Her team is here as well. So I have some of my coaches, she has some of her coaches, and then today we have the guest speaker, Emily Young, who we are honored to have her. She's going to drop gold on us, but before I pass over the mic, I just want to share a couple of things that, in case if you missed it and you were not at Super Sunday, really quickly, I'm going to go over some of the exciting things that are happening, because that gives us fuel to go into the end of the year. And then I'll pass it over to Emily. We can open it up for questions and answers. And then Stacy always fires us up to end the call with her beautiful words. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So we have a lot happening. Can everybody see this? Thumbs up? Yeah. Okay. So first of all, Body launched on Tuesday. And for those of you that don't know what Body is, it is our live interactive platform. I'm actually going to move this on this side so you could see the Body over here. It's amazing. I've already tried quite a few live classes and they are off the chain because the energy is to another level. I love how digitally the background is very, very, energetic. It's almost electrifying. Then when you see the podcast, which again, if you don't know what the podcast is, the first 100 people that sign up for a live class literally go on screen, and it is amazing. I thought of it today. I was like, this is a great way to make new friends. I love how the trainer can correct you. The trainer can pour into you. The trainer totally sees you. She was calling out today, Autumn, a girl that had a birthday, and she was like, I see you, Emily, I see you, and do this, and way to go, and make sure you have your form corrected, your chest is up. It's like literally having the trainer in your TV screen live. It is live, and they're doing it with you, you're doing it with them. You could literally work out with your friends, you could work out with other coaches, sister coaches. It's an incredible way to create even more community. It's, I think, to diversify our fitness journey. I know that our CEO, Carl Deichler, calls it the fortnight of fitness, because it's almost like if now they're going to go into like, they're going to gamify this platform. And I know it's going to reach a lot more people for those that specifically can't start or finish a program. This is kind of like for people, I mean, you could still have the programs on BOD, but Body is very interactive for those that are just kind of like, look, I really, can't work out 5, 6, 7 days a week. It's too much for me. So I'm just going to get on 3 to 4 times a week, or however many times you want. But it's kind of like, it allows you, that freedom of not having to stick to a program that requires 6 days a week. I also love that you can kind of just, jump on at the time that is, best for you. So let's say that today you're working and all of a sudden your child calls you and they say, you know what, I'm going to stay a little bit after school because I have a business meeting or whatever it is. I'm going to be part of the club. And if you hadn't gotten your workout in and you were planning on doing it at 7:00 at night, but yet at 4:00, when your child is telling you, you don't have to pick me up yet, you literally could go in and on the fly, just join a live class. You could schedule it ahead of time as well. So there is a lot of options, a lot of variety. For those that say, I get bored, I don't think you could ever get bored on this platform, because there is just an endless amount of classes, live. So no workout is really ever going to be the same. But aside from that, if you can jump on the live one, they have the pre-recorded ones, and there are a lot of options. Trust me, because I've been looking every single day of all the things, that now are going to enter my fitness world. And I just want to sum it up that this is a very fun way to add joy to your fitness journey. I mean, talk about, if I ever want to reach out and be like, Emily, I never get to work out with you, but girlfriend, let's do a class tomorrow at 12. Literally, her and I can see each other if we sign up for the podcast, and I could see her in the middle of her workout. It's going to be a way to connect. The other thing that's exciting that's coming our way in March next year, but it's something to look forward to, because if you have people that want to start working the business right now and they become a success starter, which is just simple goals, they get access to the test group of our new program that is coming out in March called 4-Week Gut Protocol. And this is so exciting because this is to help the people that have digestive issues like me. So this is going to help with bloating, inflammation, gas, diarrhea. And I know this is TMI, but these are things that happen. They are the reality. And so she is going to dive in to really helping us with eliminating some of the most inflammatory foods, but still not taking away any foods where we're going to feel like if we're starving, there's going to be no deprivation. She's still going to create it and design it with Portion Fix. If you don't know what Portion Fix is, it is our balanced macro program. So you're never really deprived. It's just a matter of eating portion control, meals, which really helps. Sage, how do you say it? Sage? I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but I know that it really helps with helping your blood sugar so that it's always so stabilized. I think it's satiated, right? So you're always full. You're never like, oh, well, that meal left me feeling hungry. This program teaches us how to eat balanced meals. So really, really exciting. That's coming out in March. The other thing that's coming out for pregnant mommies is the To Be Pregnant. It's coming out in January. And that's, my gosh, that's gold. When I was pregnant, if I would have had this, gosh, that would have just really been such an amazing journey, because that is definitely going to enhance everyone's pregnancy. So watch out for that. And then of course, this December, I believe, they haven't come out with the date exactly, but we're getting our very first indoor cycling program called Job One. What I love about this program is that if you don't have an indoor cycling or a stationary bike, you could still do the program. You have the option of doing the cycling with her. But I love that this program is only 20 minutes, 5 days a week. And we all know that we need that, because the holidays is a time where we get stressed. We have a lot of things happening. We have a lot of social gatherings, and this gets the job done in 20 minutes. So watch out for Job One. She is, she was the lead instructor for the Peloton community, and now she's, come our way, and I just cannot wait to take a cycle class with her. And then the last few things that I just want to share, which are just regarding our smart supplements, just so that you girls are aware. The Chocolate Recovery is going to be in France. Actually, it came out yesterday or today. Yesterday, the 19th. Peppermint mocha is coming back. My favorite flavor, coming back November 2nd. And then we have the pomegranate berry, our tea that is fiber filled. It helps with curbing your cravings, and that's jumping into Canada in December as well. So ladies, lots of things to offer. If we think that, we are just a shake and a fitness program, you've got to think outside the box and really go into our catalog, because there are endless amount of things and, supplements and options to really help our consumers, and our prospects. But we need to listen to what their goals are, what they're struggling with, and then offer that. So I hope that excites you to go into the end of the year, because I'm telling you that is just absolute, a huge help for us to just really target so many audiences. All right. Now, let's get to it. Emily, I am honored to have you on today. I just want to give you a little backstory. Emily and I met a few years ago, I believe, in a retreat. Obviously, we know each other from being in the same team. She's amazing, gorgeous. Um, she's going to share with you a little bit about her story, but I really wanted her to come on to share with us how she is a super busy mom, but still is crushing this business, still is creating action, because she focuses on that traction. So I'm going to pass it over to her. Emily, take it away, baby.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so let's get into my presentation. Wow, you guys, we have so much coming down the pipeline. I don't know about you, but it pumps me up and it makes me so excited because when I first started with Beachbody back in 2015, I got one workout program and one bag of shakes and containers. So this is huge. And I hope that you feel the excitement within our teams to just take it and run with it. So forgive me, I am still kind of on mom brain and this is my first week back to work. So I'm probably going to think of something and have to go back and squirrel brain. So bear with me, but thank you so much, Susie and Stacy, for having me on your call. I love this. It makes me nervous, which is good because it still helps you step outside your comfort zone and do these uncomfortable things, you guys. So even though we originally planned in August, things happen. It's my first week back to work, but I said, yes, I want to do this. So a little bit about me before I dive into how I create traction through my action. I think it's important to know the backstory. I am a mom of two. I have an 11-year-old and a 4.5-month-old. So really big stretch between the two. I'm a girlfriend. I live now in Connecticut. I moved while I had a newborn. I was born in Florida, moved to New Jersey, then to Charlotte, now to Connecticut. So kind of all over. And that's the beautiful thing about this business is I've been able to take it with me through every single journey and every season of my life. I am a corporate IT chick. I've been there for quite some time now. I'm a spiritual junkie. So for anybody else out there who is into the moon cycles and a little bit witchy like me, that's my girl. And so I'm hoping that something sparks inside of you tonight to set those intentions for the full moon. Like I said, I signed up in October of 2015, but I did not open my first bag of Shakeology until December of 2015. So I was that coach who got my second bag and third bag before I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do something, right? 21-day fix and 80-day obsession changed my life, changed the game for me when it came to this business and my nutrition. I officially took ownership of my business last year. And so we always say that there's a sign up date and then there's like a start date, right? So my sign up date was October 2015, but I didn't really start working this business and going all in until last year. And part of what I will talk about is the reasoning why. So my first couple of years of coaching, my strengths. I was very adamant on getting the results. That's my very first ever pre-workout picture. And I think that it's amazing because when I look at that body there, it's thinner than I am now, but the mindset was not there. I did not have the confidence that I have now. I didn't have the discipline. I had an unhealthy relationship with food. So I dived into our products and I saw results, and those results kept me coming back for more. So I was consistent on social media. I was sharing what I was doing. I was hitting Success Club. I've been a coach since, like I said, 2015. And I think of all of these years, I've only not hit Success Club maybe 4 times. So let that be, put into consideration that when you dive into these products and you're getting the results, people are going to want to know what you're doing because you're going to feel amazing. So I hit high Success Club numbers when I first started because, again, I was sharing my results, and it speaks for it right there. And then I took pride in helping my customers get those results. So these were my strengths when I first started coaching, right? And I'm like, okay, now why isn't my business booming the way that I wanted it to? You see coaches who come in and rock it, and it's totally, you're capable of doing that. What it takes is shifting your mindset. So where was my opportunity for growth? Now, 4 years into coaching, it's the beginning of 2020. And I'm like, something's got to change. There's got to be something, right? it takes identifying exactly what it is that's not working in order to change it. So for me, I know that I was selling too much versus sharing. It's very easy to do the blanket statements on Instagram or on Facebook because that's what's comfortable. It takes getting vulnerable, and that vulnerability is really scary. So I knew that this was an opportunity for growth. And we saw a lot of these shifts in Instagram when it became storytelling. I had this mindset that I was never going to leave corporate life, that it just wasn't for me. I make good money. I enjoy what I do. I was going to climb the corporate ladder. But then it made it to where I wasn't confident about talking about the business. And I saw that. So how can I expect to have a booming business if I'm only talking about corporate life, or if I'm only talking about this as my side hustle because I didn't want people at work to think that I was leaving the company, right? So I got very strategic, and I'll actually get into that next. So I was blaming outside circumstances for my lack of results, for my lack of success. And everyone identifies success as identifies it differently. So it's up to you to determine what success looks like for you and your family. But what I was doing was blaming, oh, I signed up this new coach and they're not showing up. I signed up this person and they still haven't hit Emerald. I signed up this person and they didn't even open their package, right? And so I was blaming all of these external things outside of my control, that was the reason why I wasn't moving forward with my business. And that prevents you from moving forward, right? You feel paralyzed, you feel unworthy, you feel incapable. And so you don't take those actions. I was not celebrating the small wins. And this is a huge, huge, huge one, you guys. I want you to really take into consideration what those small wins are today. I want to hear what you did today that was a win. I want you to drop it in the chat. Like I asked my daughter before I was going over this, when I was going over this presentation, like, Victoria, what was your win today? She said, I completed this competition for her golf. She does golf on the side. I was like, that's huge, Victoria. That is a huge win, right? So the small wins could look like, in your mind, you have this intention of getting up tomorrow morning and crushing your business. You're going to send those invites. You're going to send the invite to that person that scares you, and you oversleep. You oversleep through your alarm and you wake up panicky and you're freaking out and you're like, I'm not going to get to it. So you just throw your arms in the air and you say, forget it. The small win in those situations could look like, I got an extra hour of sleep. My body clearly needed it. That is a win, right? So celebrating the small wins, whether it is unplugging from your phone earlier, or spending time here, getting to know somebody. Maybe it was you crafted a post that was vulnerable and it made you uncomfortable and you shared it. Those are small wins, and celebrating them, putting that energy into those wins will create more. It's the whole power of law of attraction. So I was not doing that. And so I needed to start doing that. Taking ownership of my business wasn't happening, right? I was a retail coach. I was a hobby coach. I expected a six-figure income without the results, or without putting in the work to get those results. And so it really took me like gut checking, right? The limiting beliefs of my not being able to lead others left me paralyzed the first couple of years. In my mind, I said, there's no way that anybody's going to want to join me because I'm not a full-time coach. I still work in corporate America. I still preach and talk about corporate America. But the fact of the matter is I am capable of leading a team. I am capable of leading myself. So if I can lead myself to success, I know that I can lead other people to success. It's just changing the narrative and putting one foot out, one foot in. I see so many coaches do this, and I was guilty of it for the first 4 years. And what I mean by that is, like, it's very easy to go all in with your nutrition or all in with your workouts, right? We are so set on that. But then what about the other vital behaviors that are they make us uncomfortable? It's because we're not used to doing it. We're not used to sharing on social media. We're not used to being vulnerable. We're not used to inviting people. We're not used to doing personal development. How long do you think it took me to pick up a book and read it cover to cover before I really got this idea of, like, okay, I need to be doing all the things, right? You can't just have one foot in, one foot out and expect that you're going to see your traction on your team, or even within yourself. It takes doing all of the things consistently. So what shifted? What happened between like the first 4 years to now? So what really shifted for me was my mindset. And so this is really the meat and potatoes of what I want to get into, to how you can create traction through your action. It first takes going all the way back to your thoughts. Because if you see here underneath where your thoughts create your emotions, feelings, create your action, create your results, we're skipping to the end piece of the equation, right? We need to first dial it back and look at our thoughts. What is it that is preventing us from moving forward? And for me, it was my belief system. And like Susie said, it was the Diesel Nation Leadership Retreat, the Diamond Leadership Retreat in 2019. It was intimate, it was small. That's where I met both Stacy and Susie, and it literally changed my business. So note to self, get to these retreats, get to live events, because the power of being surrounded by a group of women who are motivated, who are inspired, who genuinely want to help you grow and succeed is contagious. So I started to shift my belief, and I did that through a series of steps. In January of 2020, I took advantage of all of the trainings that Diesel Nation had out there, any of the VIP groups, anything, because I always qualified for these groups because I was always hitting my goals, but I never took action on them. I just sat there on it, and why, right? These leaders who are literally where you want to be have paved the way for us. So why are we not taking advantage of it? So that's what I did. I started listening to the trainings. I started taking notes. I write things down and I reread it and I implement it. I tweak it for that serves me and my team and my audience, but we do it, right? So then February comes around, another promotion that I got passed up at work in corporate. And I was like, this isn't for me, right? The recognition isn't there. The promotions aren't there. I wasn't fulfilled. It was the rat race of corporate life. And it was that moment where I was like, obviously I'm still going to show up to work and I'm still going to do my job because that's just who I am, but I'm not going to stress myself out over serving the bottom dollar of this huge multi-million dollar company that does not care about me. At the end of the day, I am a number at the bottom and I'm serving the head company, right? So I said, why not do that for myself, for my business, for my team? And so that's what I did. March hit, the pandemic, and wouldn't you know it, everybody needed at-home fitness. And that's when it really kind of blew up. And being the person and growing into who I needed to be in order to attract the woman that I wanted on my team was huge, because we all have the same tools. We all have the same resources. It's a matter of who do you need to become in order to attract the woman that you want on your team. You have to be resourceful. You have to go out and learn and evolve. For me, it was as simple as I need to create a Vimeo account. I need to create a Zoom account. I need to, get an email list going. I hired a virtual assistant. So like all of those little things that I know top coaches are doing, because for me as a mom, corporate life, like I didn't have the extra time to devote to doing some of these things. So thinking about who you need to become in order to be successful. And so what actions did I take in order to really deviate from that place of feeling like I couldn't lead anybody, I couldn't do anything, that I was hitting success club, but I wasn't seeing the results in my business? What actions did I take? Belief. I flipped the switch. You guys, you cannot expect to plant strawberry seeds and have sunflowers bloom, right? That's just asinine. So we have to plant the seeds in our mind of what we want to achieve. I had to literally write out my gratitudes in my small book of wins every single day, my affirmations, my intentions. I am worthy of this. I am capable of this and X, Y, and Z, whatever this is, right? I am, in saying that, I am. Whatever you have after the statement, I am, that is what you are. So I want to hear in the chat, what are you? I am what? For me, it was, I am a leader of leaders. That's what I had to continue to tell myself. So that way I was leveling up to attract the leaders on my team. When you become radically aware of your thoughts, you're able to change them. You guys, it's just like a muscle in our body. Our brains the muscle can change. And it takes us first being aware of those thoughts in order to change it, right? I listened to all the trainings, like I said, in the VIP groups, and I immediately started to implement whatever it is that it was that was serving me. I poured into myself, and this is probably the most impactful shift that you can take right now that will drastically change your life, your business, your relationships. It is doing you. So prime example is reading a book from start to finish. That little bit of discipline of completing a book will start to create that confidence inside you. And not only that, but you're going to learn so much. And taking some with a grain of salt, obviously, because not every book is for everybody, but I wholeheartedly believe that portion of our vital behaviors is huge. So instead of spending an hour scrolling on social media, instead of watching the Netflix, which was the first time I ever watched a Netflix show was during the pandemic. And I was like, wow, I just wasted like 5 hours of my life. How do people do this every single weekend? So, picking up a book instead of the things that aren't serving you, controlling the controllables. So obviously life happens, squirrels happen, like things happen. So you have to be nimble in the sense that not everything is going to go according to plan, but when you have a plan, it makes it so much easier to pour into yourself, to then turn around and pour into your team. Within that morning routine, I read my vision every single day. That is huge. And not just thinking about it, you guys, physically writing it out in a book, on a piece of paper, it could be bullet points, whatever, put it on a Post-it note, but writing it out and reading it every single day, because that sends signals into the universe that you will receive this. Literally, it is vibrations that you are putting out there saying, I want this. I will receive more of this. And then when it does happen, when one little thing happens, I literally look up at the universe or God or whatever it is that you pray to, and I say, thank you. Thank you. And I will receive more of this. I know it sounds silly, but I do that and it makes you feel good. It gives me chills just doing it now. I became intentional with my social media. So this is something that social media is, I know it's like really tricky for a lot of people, but social media is my jam. I love it. I love sharing. I love pictures. I love it all. So I became intentional with the sense that I started to share versus sell. I started to get vulnerable. And what that takes is really peeling back the layers of why you started this. Who was it that you needed to be to reach the hand out for you when you first started? And speaking to that woman, literally, that's what you have to do. And it's uncomfortable, but that vulnerability it's relatable. So the quality versus quantity happened. When I first started coaching you guys, we were posting 5 times a day on social media, on Instagram and Facebook. I was telling Victor that if I followed me 5 years ago, I for sure would have unfollowed me, like with how we were posting and how annoying it was. And now it's more of a marketing, and it's beautiful. So thinking about your quality versus quantity without stressing yourself out over it. Sometimes, like, I'm going to post a picture of my baby tonight and it's not going to have this long drawn out caption. It's just going to be something cute, right? So it doesn't have to always be a story, but knowing that your quality photos on social media over just constantly throwing everything out there, and then streamlining my message and the time spent on social media. So this was huge. Understanding, and I'm sure like in the team, we always have whatever it is that we're talking about for the month, and being very strategic with how you're breadcrumbing things or what you're talking about in order to get whatever result you're looking for. So for example, tomorrow I'm hosting a sneak peek into the coaching opportunity. So I've been pebbling in the coaching opportunity. Now that I'm back to work and I was spending 4.5 months on maternity leave, like all of those things, I've been pebbling it in order for my sneak peek on Thursday. I started hosting my own team calls. So this was something that was totally new to me. I always hopped on, if you know Jeanette Maceda, I always hopped on her team calls, or Amanda Sobel, my coach, and I just kind of let them run with it, because again, it was my lack of belief in myself of leading a team. So when I started hosting my own team calls last year, it was me and 2 other girls. That was it. And I didn't know what I was going to talk about half the time. Sometimes I was just like, okay, I heard this podcast and it was really good, so I'm going to share this. And that's how it started. And then before you knew it, those podcasts turn into real life stories. And then it became a back and forth, like coffee chat and Q&A and how can I help? And before you know it, it's like now we've got 20 people on our team calls, and it's beautiful. I started hosting my own sneak peeks. This is another thing that I would always have people hop on the Diesel Nation sneak peeks. But when I'm inviting someone and I'm telling them that I'm going to be there for you every step of the way, I'm going to coach you, I'm going to be in the trenches with you, but here, listen to these coaches talk about their story, it puts a disconnect between me and my prospect. I want them to feel it from me, right? So I started doing that, and it forces you to level up. It forces you to communicate effectively. It forces you to share your story. It forces you to invite, because you don't want to waste an hour of your time recording a sneak peek if you're never going to share it with anybody. And then doing my own sneak peeks and trainings. So I do a really bomb social media training. If anybody is interested, I love it. It's my jam. Okay, what else did I do to take action? I set boundaries with myself, my daughter, and my business. So sitting her down, and this is before I had the baby and before I moved to Connecticut and in a relationship. So now living with a man is totally different, and I'm still trying to navigate all of that. But he's with the baby now, so we're doing good. I'm setting those boundaries accordingly. But setting the boundaries and knowing that, if someone needs to get a hold of me, to text me versus messaging me on social media, because social media, I'll turn it off by a certain time, and I make sure to set those expectations with my team. And then I also sought out a success partner for the first time last year. I had never had a success partner, and her and I both hit Premiere last year. And so we still work together. And so I think that that's a really pivotal thing that a lot of people don't do. And it's important. I mean, look at Susie and Stacy, right? They're success partners here. So these types of calls are great, because you can start to follow each other on social media, get to see who you vibe with and how you work, what your goals are, and how you can take action to reach your goals. So a few key takeaways, and then I'll open it up to Q&A. So some of the things for action to create traction. The mindset model, you guys, this is so critical. Your thoughts create your emotions and your feelings. Those feelings create your action, and your action creates your results. So in order to get results, you have to first think about your thoughts. And I know that seems kind of like, if you follow Bob Heilig, the virtual upline podcast, he talks about the mindset model, and this is what it is. And it's so true, because we're generating some kind of feeling about something that's preventing us from taking action. So what that feeling is coming from, what thought? And so retraining your brain to believe in yourself, to understand that you're capable of doing all of this, because you believe it. You have to believe it, because we've seen so many coaches who have done it. So it's a matter of changing those thoughts. And there's a whole series of questions that we can do another call on for mindset model work, but that is key. Your time is either going to expose you or promote you. And I love this, because consistency will trump intensity 10 out of 10 every single time. It's doing those unsexy tasks behind the scene every single day that will promote you. Because what happens is that we stop with our consistency, and then we feel our confidence plummets because we're not being consistent, and then we feel icky about reaching out. So the simple solution is to stay consistent. Stay consistent with your workouts, stay consistent with your nutrition, stay consistent with posting, with inviting. And it's okay if you fall off, right? Like this past weekend, I was in New Jersey and I ate and I drank more than I normally do, but I shared that. The point is sharing it, saying that am I going to throw in the towel? Absolutely not. I have the tools to pick myself back up and keep going. Get crystal clear on what you want. not what other people want you to want. So understanding what your vision is and why you are here, and fall in love with being perfectly imperfect. Don't compare yourself, because your day 1 to my year 5, there's no comparison. You have to compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not who I was, not who Susie was, not who Stacy was, right? Because we're all have our own unique magic. And that's the beautiful thing about this business, is that there is someone who is just like you, who is looking up at you and saying like, wow, look at how confident they are. They're posting on social media. Like, I wish I could do that. So it takes us reaching out the hand and inviting them, casting that vision and reading it every single day, and inviting and sharing, creating a morning routine that is sustainable, and understanding that, you know, the ebbs and flows of life, sometimes it's going to teeter, but creating a morning routine, writing your gratitudes every single day. Sometimes it can be as simple as, I'm grateful that I can work out today. I'm grateful that I can move my body. I'm grateful for this air that I'm breathing, you know, and then as you do it every single day, writing something different, you start to get a little bit deeper into what you're grateful for. And again, like I said, that sends a signal saying, I will receive more of it. Celebrating your wins, and thinking in this business will kill you. So instead of overthinking on, oh my gosh, is this post going to get a lot of likes? Is this post, do I look good in this? Can I do this? I don't want to reach out. Instead of overthinking about all of those things, why don't you overthink about how beautiful you are, how wonderful you are, how you just crushed that workout? Like, overthink on the good parts of what we are doing in this life, because all of these things that Beachbody instills in us is ultimately creating a beautiful life, not just from a coaching perspective and a business perspective, but an all around like mental mindset, self-love shift that you don't get anywhere else. So that's kind of it. This is just like a list of my favorite PD books that I've read that really kind of impacted me and helped me take action in one way, shape, or form. Some are super like mentory, some are spiritual, but that's all I got. And I'm here for Q&A if anybody has any.
I love it, Emily. Thank you so much for sharing an amazing presentation. I love how you share, you know, the very raw and real of that. Sometimes you're starting out, you know, years later, really focused years later. Sometimes people jump in from the very beginning. But I love how you said, you know, your team calls were just 2 people at first. I think people tend to think like, oh my gosh, you know, I have to have this big team. And if I don't have this big team, I'm no one. No, it just takes one person, you know, to literally give you wings, because that one person is your team. And so you start building together and then you create magic. So I love that, because a lot of times people will make it seem like if, you know, the success is overnight, and it isn't. I remember when I started my team calls, and it was just me and another girl from Cali. And it was like that for a good 6 months before anyone else joined. So thank you. Amazing presentation. All right. So yes, let's open it up for Q&A, because you are a full-time mommy and a full-time IT employee, correct?
Yes.
I want to make sure I get that right.
Corporate. Yeah. I'm a portfolio manager, but I work in our IT department. So.
Okay. So I want everybody to be aware that it's not like if they could say, well, Susie, you know, you're at home, so you have time, or Stacy, who, you know, is a hair salon, you know, owner. She's obviously a hairdresser, but she can create her own hours. Yes. But she still has another business and still works this. Yes, I am a substitute teacher at times when they call me, but I work this. Obviously, this is really the majority of my time, but I love how you have this corporate job and still dedicate time to build it and sacrifice time away from your family, because you know that this is, you know, really just something very powerful that is way bigger than us. So anybody that comes in here with objections and says, well, of course you have the time. No. Emily is someone who works full-time, has 2 daughters, and has a family of her own, and still decides to work this business. So go ahead and unmute yourself if you have any questions for Emily, or if you want to share anything that she said that, really touched you, whatever it is, this is your time to learn from her before I pass it over to Stacy so we can close out the call.
I have something.
Yes.
I always have something. Hi, Emily. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I thank you so much for everything you said. I know so much, everything, not even so much, everything resonated with me. I wanted to ask you, I have one question and one comment. So I'll start with the comment. You had mentioned about the corporate world and how, what if I turn the energy I put into those people who don't even care about me into myself? That shift has happened for me recently. And so that's the catalyst really for why I'm retiring from the Air Force. And so that really resonated with me because when I joined Beachbody, within 3 months, they were treating me with more value and more incentive and more encouragement than I had felt in years. And so, so that was great. The question I had was, how can we get more information on your social media course that you have?
I'm sure, no problem. So I'm sure I have a recording somewhere floating around there, but otherwise I'm more than happy to host like a Saturday. I usually do them Saturday mornings early before the kids wake up, before people, but I can see if I haven't left it like one from previously recorded and get it over to you. It's short, maybe anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, but I will say that social media changes regularly. So one that I have recorded, in the beginning of the year, obviously is significantly different now, being that, with reels and everything.
So I would not want to seem like I was adding anything. I thought you offered an ongoing class like to purchase, but no worries at all.
Not to purchase. I just offer social media training like to new coaches.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you. Okay, I'm good. Thank you so much, Emily.
No problem. Yeah, I love social media.
Emily is my coach. My name's Kayla. And I just wanted to touch base on what she said about being consistent. Emily invited me for 3 years before I said yes. And there were plenty of other Beachbody coaches that I've known and that would reach out, but she's the only one who like kept asking and kept encouraging me. And I just really appreciate her for doing that. And you're gonna get a lot of no's, but you will eventually get that yes that you deserve. So just don't stop inviting.
Kayla, why don't we put out there how much weight you've lost?
Since joining Beachbody in June of 2020, I have lost 162 pounds.
Yes.
I've literally lost a whole person.
Yeah. So that 100%, the consistency with us as coaches to inviting, and then the consistency with making sure that once they do say yes, loving on your customers, because we know that it's going to change their lives. Kayla got off lupus meds. She got off all sorts of medication due to our total solution. So
yeah, changing my, my nutrition and really digging in and learning about the foods that are right for my autoimmune disorder. I was a cheerleader my whole life, and I was actually telling somebody this story today, and I couldn't recover from my knee surgery because of the food that I was putting in my body. And I teach, so the kids in my group wanted to do like tumbling and stuff, and I did a back handspring the other day for the first time since I was like 22 years old. And it's because like I'm taking better care of my body than I was in my 20s.
Yes. Thank you, Kayla, for sharing.
Kayla, that is absolutely incredible. Like, oh my gosh.
Let's get her in the challenge next year.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, that is wow. Just wow. I mean, thank you for sharing. I mean, I know how amazing Emily is, so I know that she was probably amazing reaching out. But yeah, it is the reality. Sometimes it takes years before somebody says yes, but when they're ready, they're going to join. And when they join, when they're ready, that's where the magic happens.
And you want them to
So,
join with you. So it takes
yeah.
us being consistent and showing up.
Yes. Showing up, being consistent in the good and in the bad, because people are watching. And, you know, a life of a leader is a life of service. So we have to think that all the, you know, showing up and giving value to our viewers is definitely going to pay off, because, you know, we are helping them and they're watching. And then when they're ready, they join. So amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you, Kayla, for sharing. Anyone else before I pass it over to Stacy? Don't be shy, girls. Anybody want to share a comment, ask a question? This is your time to learn from Emily.
No worries if not.
All right.
You can always
Okay,
DM.
just because I know sometimes people hesitate and they're like, I'm shy, you know, but I just wanted them to see, Emily, the value that, you know, you still work a full-time job, but, you know, decide to work Beachbody. I get a lot of that from my coaches. I don't have time. Or, you know, I work, Susie, you have all this time. And I'm like, no, it's what you
Creating a routine.
prioritize.
Yes, exactly. Getting
Yeah.
up earlier before your family gets up. That was huge for me. So yeah, creating a routine and just understanding that it's going to change here and there, but as
Yeah.
long as you do your priorities.
Absolutely. All right, Stace, take it away, baby.
Okay, so first of all, I have an obsession with Emily's butt. That's really the first thing that I met with her. Right? I literally grabbed her butt and I pinched it and I was like, hi. I didn't even know her, but then like I was just attracted to her. I love her to the moon and back. I seriously do. Like, I wish I was your neighbor. I would sit there and have coffee with you on your porch every single day. I adore you. The thing that I want to say with you guys is there was something as she was talking. I don't have anything profound to really tell you except for a story. As she was talking, the big thing that stuck out, you guys, was the word all in, right? All in. And as she was talking about that, it made me think about the hair salon. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why this call tonight is universally helping me to get my shit in order. And I appreciate her words. So the universe knows, right? So at my old hair salon, you guys, I was absolutely miserable. I was questioning, should I even be a stylist? Do I even like what I do? Because the blanket that I was surrounding my craft was salty and sour and making me question. But now I see it was the beacon to get out. I never knew that until COVID hit and we all had to come home, right? And the moment I left and I made this huge leap to launch a hair studio, become an LLC, when you need to change, you don't think. I was not given a thought. I couldn't think more than 10 minutes if I wanted my studio or not. That's what Travis told me. I said, can I go home and think about this? He's like, no, you can't. There's 35 stylists that want this right now. And something that I've learned is something that people around me, my family members, think that I'm crazy for, but it's the truth. Every time I don't think about something and I just know, I succeed. I don't need time to think about it. I don't need time to ponder, right? When I ponder, everything is gone. And so tonight, Emily gave me the gift to make me realize that I can and I need to. I'm not all in right now. I know that. I'm 100% honest, right? I'm stretched in other positions. But here's what I know. I know how to be all in. Because when I left and I put my head down every night at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, contacting clients, getting my LLC license, trying to figure out all the things, I blocked out the negativity and the noise. I could have fired back at my bosses, but I didn't. I got silent and I became ninja-like on my goals. And because of that, in less than a year, I quadrupled my income. So if this is not showing me what the heck to do, right? It's putting your head down and going all in. And really, you guys, the big thing, what she said, if you didn't catch that, was you got to go all in on you. She wants you, what she's saying is every day Shakeology, no ifs, ands, or buts. Every day PD, every day, whatever it is, you work that program. And if you're not getting your containers and you don't have them out, or you're doing whatever, you're not doing the nutrition part, then that's not all in. It's just not. And it's not a right or a wrong. It's just not all in, right? So we have to know, how bad do we want it? I was in such a miserable environment that I was like, I'm done. And it was like, boom, head down. Everything was blocked, right? And I think tonight what she helped me see was, well, you know, and we all do this. Well, I have this other thing floating here and I'm really good, right? I'm really okay. But I'm being disrespectful to my bigger vision. So we have to really think about that. We cannot be disrespectful to a bigger vision. All of our lives here are fabulous. Each and every one of us. We have a roof over our head. We have money in our bank account. We have food in our refrigerator. Our life is beautiful. We're allowed to have more. We can have more, but we have to believe in it. And so tonight, everything goes for taking care of massively of you. And so I'm really grateful for Emily's echoing back what my body has been totally telling me. And that's the coolest thing about sister coaches. She had no idea that was in my brain, but the universe did. And she came up with a presentation. That's what we talk about. Everybody is a voice. Everybody here has value. Everybody is a leader. And you have every possibility in front of you to go all in. So if we all go in together, what an accountability squad we can have. What an accountability squad. So think about that tonight. Think about you're all in, all these all in. There's 9 of us. If 9 of us all go in and we hold each other's backs, y'all, your vision board will come true. So Emily, I love you. Thank you so much. I'm sitting on my toilet in my mom's bathroom tonight, hosting with you on a call, but this is what we're talking about. So I love you.
Thank you. Feels good to be here.
I will say one thing about what Stacy said, only because for those of you that say, well, all in sounds intimidating. I just want to give this perspective, because definitely what Emily and Stacy said, for me, I totally resonate. But interesting enough, when I left Super Sunday this Sunday, I had a conversation with Melissa, who's my coach, who's on the call. And we started talking about how, you know, she has not been all in because of the fact that she's a single mom. Everything relies on her or lands on her. And she also has a full-time job, and it's just been a lot. And so one of the things that she said was, I just sometimes don't even have the time to work out. And we were going back and forth with another coach, Lily Rubio, who's also one of my success partners. And, you know, Lily was like, look, Melissa, you know, if you're feeling like a failure because you haven't gotten your workouts in, or you can't get 6 workouts in, but you could get 3, if that is your all in at the moment, celebrate that. Don't feel like a failure. And I want to share that, because sometimes people feel like, well, I can't work out 6 days a week. And realistically, that's not the norm, guys. It's not. Just because 645 came out and it's 6 days a week, 45 minutes, doesn't mean that that is, you know, like everybody is available to that. You know, it's so anyways, long story short, we were trying to just tell Melissa, listen, if for you, it's only 3 days a week, but if you can, you know, gift yourself with either the gift of movement or mindful eating or drinking your shake or having a morning routine or drinking your personal development, you know, as best you can in the season you're in, then that's all in. Because if that's all that you can give at this very moment, it doesn't mean that you're a failure if you're not working out 6 days a week. And if, you know, you're not like indulging in some of the things, because we are human. I think what they mean by all in is gifting yourself with being aware and mindful of habits that serve you.
Exactly. And
Because
it all goes back to your mindset, right? And those book of wins. So if you can't get 6 workouts in that week, but you go back and you're celebrating the fact that you walked a mile or that you did get your workout in, it's celebrating those small book of wins and doing that, those gratitudes, and saying like, I get to do this today. I'm going to prioritize this. And if you don't get to your workout, how can I counterbalance that? Okay, well, I'm going to be mindful with my eating. I'm going to be super clean with my eating, and then that can be your book of win. So yes, all in the sense of, all in whatever your expectations are, whatever your success is, that whatever it looks like for you, because success for you could look completely different than success for me.
correct.
And so identifying that and then taking the thoughts to get you there.
Exactly. And I just wanted to share that because, like I said, we all have different goals. And Melissa was like, but I feel like a failure. And Lily and I were like, no, girl, you like, do not feel like a failure. If you cannot work out the way we can, the way we do, maybe that's not even your goal. You do what works for you, because then you're going to generate feelings of I'm being confident, and I'm succeeding, versus feeling, like the feelings of being defeated. So it's flipping that mindset and just saying, these are my goals. This is what is sustainable to me. This is what I can commit to. And like you said, it's going to teeter, right? But at the end of the day, knowing that when you lay down in bed, you're like, okay, this is what I set out to do. And I was mindful, aware, and I did the best I could. Because as long as we're doing our best, it doesn't matter what it looks like. What looks successful to you might not look like it might not be what it is for me. But at the end of the day, it's got to fit, your needs, and it's got to create service for you. So yes, I see that Mel wrote that made my eyes water, and I wanted to address it because there's a lot of women that feel like I just need that permission. It's almost like that permission from someone else to say, you're okay, you got this. You know what I'm saying? And so again, whatever all in is for you, that has to matter. It's, we always encourage to lean in the group, encourage to drink your shake, mindful eating, working out, the gift of movement. But there are seasons and there are things in life where sometimes that doesn't happen. But if all in is being super on point with your mindset and your belief and your mental health and emotional feeling, that outweighs any other thing. We just encourage all the other stuff. All right. So we're past 10 o'clock. Mel, just know that we love you and I see you, and I know we talked about it and it was something very emotional for you. So I hope that today you got to see another side and a perspective of how, even when it's crazy, it's just prioritizing what is important for you. Stace, thank you so much for sharing your heart. Emily, can't thank you enough. It was an honor to have you. I'll share the recording as soon as I have it, but in the meantime, ladies, fuel yourself with what's coming, crush your goals, crush October, and we will see you soon. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.